Have you ever had the thought come to you, boy, my life sure didn't turn out like I planned? That can often happen. Actually, probably to everybody it happens. You have a certain way that you think life is going to go, and then you wake up one morning and you're like, wow, this is entirely different. But that is okay. See, because God's got something for you that your neighbor across the street doesn't. He will never have what you have, and vice versa. God did that on purpose. He doesn't want you to be copying people, watching somebody else's life, getting discontent with your own. And that can happen so easily. We scroll through Facebook and Instagram and YouTube and all these social media platforms, and we start looking at other people's lives and how they are, and it looks picture perfect. It looks like they've got their life completely together, and you are over here and you're like, wow, this is just great. How much time are you spending looking at other people's lives and, looking, the grass is greener on the other side of the fence type of thing? There's a verse in the Word in 2 Corinthians 10. It's the second half of verse 12, and it's in the Amplified version of the Bible. And God said, when they measure themselves with themselves and compare themselves with one another, they are without understanding and behave unwisely. So when you start looking at somebody else's life, the discontent level in your life starts going up, and you start thinking, oh, I don't have that. They got this. They're at this point in their life. So what we need to do is watch how much time we're spending looking at everybody else's life. I don't know about you guys, but it's so easy to watch people go by. I mean, you go through the whole, you're getting out of high school. Woohoo, you're on your own for the first time, and you go to college maybe or start working, and all of a sudden, one by one, like, people are getting married, and then they start having babies, and then they've got this, and all of a sudden you wake up and you're like, whoa, did I miss the boat? Oh my goodness, these people are at my age. They're at this point in their lives, and I feel like I'm way behind over here. This is not good. And when we start getting that, you can get a spirit of jealousy rise up on the inside of you, and you just start getting real upset at maybe yourself, where you're at in life, and maybe you start getting upset at God, and you're like, I should be over here, and I'm supposed to be over there. Well, who said you're supposed to be over there? Who said you're supposed to be where these other people are? Because God has a very unique plan for you. And so sometimes we just have to take a step back and start saying thank you instead for where you're at. Do you have a bed to sleep in? Do you have hot water? Do you have a roof over your head? Is God taking care of you? It's so easy to get these seeds of discontent popping up when you start looking on the other side of the fence. So we have to stop looking at the neighbor's grass, how fluffy it is and how smooth it is and how beautiful it is, and the shade of green that you just can't get on your own yard. You spend time, some real face time, in the Bible, and you start looking at what God has already given you, and you've got it all. It's totally fine. The scriptures in the Bible will help you to have thoughts of content instead of discontent. And one of them is right before in that same chapter, it says, for though we walk in the flesh, we do not war after the flesh. For the weapons of our warfare are not carnal, but mighty through God to the pulling down of strongholds, casting down imaginations and every high thing that exalts itself against the knowledge of God, and bringing into captivity every thought to the obedience of Christ. That basically says when those strongholds start rising up in you and you start getting angry, you start getting upset with your own life, you say, wait a second, you got to recognize the devil's attack of this. He wants you to be very upset with what is going on in your life. So God said, cast down those imaginations. So whenever those thoughts come in like, oh, I wish I was this person, or why am I here? I say, nope, that's not my thought. I thank you, God, that you have me exactly where you want me. I thank you that I have a very successful life in you, and I thank you that you living in me is the best thing that has ever happened to me. So I'm going to be content no matter what's going on. When you do that, you pull down those strongholds, and then you get a release in your spirit, I guess you could say, over, you don't have those anxious emotions anymore over, why am I not somewhere else? You start being content with exactly what you're going through right now. and God will just minister to you there. And it is okay. You are totally fine where you're at right now. So quit looking at the neighbor's grass.